Hello everybody, Eilish here from Drogheda Library, and we are so happy to be back again this year for our annual walking, talking and exploring virtual tour of County Louth for Heritage Week 2024. So this year we are going to visit one of County Louth's finest historical monuments. It's located north of Drogheda, around 8 kilometres north of Drogheda, and we are heading to the historic monastic settlement of Monasterboice. So we can't wait to get down there and explore, and we hope you'll come along with us. This is Monasterboice, an early Christian monastic settlement that was founded by St. Bwitha in the 5th century. It contains two of the finest high crosses in Ireland and a majestic round tower. It was a wealthy and thriving community filled with monks, poets, scholars and craftsmen. And from the 6th to the 12th century, it became a very influential hub. An interesting story about St. Bwitha tells us that he brought a man back from the dead who had been beheaded by the High King of Ireland. The grateful man, so happy to be alive, spent his years tending to the monastic gardens here on the site. St. Bwitha died in 520, and ironically it was his own head that was one of the main relics within this area. In 1520, the monastery was robbed and his head was stolen and was never found again. This is the majestic round tower at Monasterboice, built between 850 to 1000 AD. Along with its use as a belfry, it also served as a watchtower so that the monks could keep a cautious eye on the landscape in case of any hostile attacks. During an attack, the bell would be rung in the belfry, gathering and summoning everybody to gain shelter within the safe confines of the round tower. Monasteries like Monasterboice were very vulnerable to attack from marauding Scandinavian pirate chiefs that would want to come and violently attack the monastery and plunder all the treasures within. So the round tower is built to a circular plan, so that no cornerstone is exposed, allowing the enemy to gain access to within the safe confines of the round tower. The door was many metres above ground level, so this was to allow no battering ram to smash and get entry inside the safe confines of within. Although it looks like it's not very high from where I'm standing today, it would have been much higher. You have to remember that the graveyard has been built up over the centuries here, so it doesn't look like there's much of a distance, but the door would have been much higher, many metres above, and access was by means of a ladder. So a ladder would be thrown down, people would climb up the ladder and be safe within the confines of the round tower. So this 6-storey round tower stands at over 28 metres high and is missing a top part, or the roof, its conical cap. But it is quite majestic. In 1027, the belfry caught fire, burning all the important treasures and books and documents within the round tower. Now, in the shadow of the round tower is one of two monumental crosses that are of some of the finest in Europe. And I'm going to direct you over to the first cross, which is called the Tall Cross or the West Cross. And it is just over here. So this cross is one of the tallest crosses in Ireland, and it stands at 7 metres high, and it is one of the finest examples of stone crosses in Ireland. You have a cross that is made of 4 parts. You have the base, you have the shaft, you have the crosshead, and you have the capstone, and it is incredibly carved with beautiful images. This is the west side, and it deals with the crucifixion of Christ. But if you'd like to walk around the east side, and we'll have a look at it. The east side deals with the Old Testament, and there are beautiful carvings on this side of images and scenes from the Old Testament. This is the second high cross here at Monasterboice, and although it's smaller than the West Cross or the Tall Cross, it stands at over 5 metres, wee bit over 5 metres high. it is arguably one of the finest examples of stone crosses anywhere in Ireland and England and even Europe. An inscription at the base tells us to commemorate Murdoch, who was abbot of Monasterboice and died in 924 AD. Now this side of the cross is the west side of the cross, and it deals with the crucifixion of Christ. A panel here at the very bottom of the cross shows us Christ being mocked by the soldiers. Now this cross is made of 3 different parts. You have the base, you have the cross, and you have the capstone. And it would have been made of, or it is made of sandstone, which would be a very soft stone. And if you consider that this cross is here from the 10th century, and it has survived all the Irish weathers and extreme weather conditions, and you can still see the illustrations so clearly, it is quite incredible. If you just follow me around to the other side of the cross, this side is the east side of the cross, and this side deals with the Last Judgment, and the detail on the panelling is incredible. I don't know if you can see it, but just above we have St. Michael guiding this, weighing the souls. Above St. Michael is Christ. To the left of Christ is the good souls that are going to go into heaven, and to the right of Christ are the bad souls that are being pushed into hell by a bearded devil with a pitchfork. So the level of detail is quite incredible. Now whoever sculpted this cross had a sense of humour, because if you follow me around here, over on this section of the cross we have two long-haired men pulling each other's beards. And if you follow me back around to this side of the cross, we have 2 cats. So one is a cat here and it's licking its kitten, and the other one here is about to devour a bird. So we don't really know, we know why it was here, but we don't really know what the function of the cross was, but we think it was for religious instruction or educational instruction. Back in the 10th century, many people didn't read or write. They certainly didn't have access to Bibles. So they would have come here and been able to clearly see all the illustrations and learn about Christianity, learn about the Bible and religion. And we think as well, back in the 10th century, this would have been in colour to really illuminate the story of the Bible. So it is quite incredible that 1,000 years later, here it still stands. This is one of 2 medieval churches that are on the site here at Monasterboice. And before we leave today, it's worth noting another fantastic feature that's located to the north side of the monastery. So we'll go over and have a look at that before we leave. So this is the 3rd cross in Monasterboice, and it is known as the North Cross. And it is a very simply decorated cross. It just has here the crucifixion scene on this side, and on the far side it has a decorated boss of 16 spirals. So it's very simple. Now it has been damaged and it has been moved to this part of the monastery. It's in this kind of protective and kind of railings. If you follow me here, there's a very interesting part to it. There is a sundial. Now sundials were very common in monasteries all over Ireland and England, and it would have simply just marked the passage of time for the monks and for the community. So it's a lovely part to end on our tour of Monasterboice. So that concludes our tour of Monasterboice for Heritage Week 2024. And since we've been here, we've met so many people from around the world that made it their business to come and visit this incredible monastic site. So if anybody hasn't visited Monasterboice, it's a gem in the crown of County Louth, and you should definitely come and visit it. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.